What's up, friendos, and welcome into Leading Off right here on Fantasy Pros, brought to you by PrizePicks. Use a promo code Leading Off. Get a 100% match up to $100 when you download the app and deposit today. Check out PrizePicks because we are going to be laying out some PrizePicks here in just a little bit. It is a fun Friday. We are going to be taking your questions. If you guys have got fantasy questions, drop them in the chat. I've dedicated 2 spots into the episode where we're just going to bring some up in rapid fire. So if you are one of the awesome people that hangs out with us live on YouTube, which we do in season Monday through Friday, or in this back half of the season, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, drop it in. We're answering your questions. We got a whole bunch more, a little bit of where are Corbin, Carroll, and I, and the rookie Lookie is going to have a whole lot there. Casey Bubba in the house. What's up, Bubba?
Not much, my friend. It's a beautiful Friday, ready for the weekend. Get some more baseball for us because yesterday was boring. 6 games, boring.
It was boring, actually, and we were a little bit light on news, but looky, hello, rookie. Yeah. We have hit the 40-day marker, everybody, and that 40-day marker or 45-day marker means that rookies can now start coming up. We might get an influx of them. Well, we got one of them earlier yesterday, but the breaking news, like, I don't even know when it was. I woke up to it. It was a couple hours ago, is 2023 first rounder Nolan Schanuel is being called up to the majors by the Los Angeles Angels, which is bonkers town. Bubba, 3 Saturdays ago, I want to say, could have been a month. My time is all kind of screwed up, but I want to say it was 3 or 4 Saturdays ago, across the street from me in Rookie Complex League, I saw and talked to Nolan Schanuel. I was actually just watching the video on my phone here a couple minutes ago about him playing the Kansas City Royals complex team. He moved up to A-ball. He went to AA. He's passing AAA. In AAA, he ended up having the most games played, had a homer, a stolen base, .339 batting average, a better walk percentage and strikeout percentage. Nolan Schanuel is fascinating on so many ends. One of the better contact hitters in college baseball this past year. He was kind of presumed to be that. I was a little slow on him early, moved him back up. Power, it'll be questionable where that goes. He's got a very high, like his arms come way up. It makes you question how he's going to be able to catch up to like high velocity pitches, but he does set well and he makes tons of contact that I think is going to kind of slap across the body. It's a unique profile. It's a unique player and it's a unique situation, Bubba, where a 2023 rookie is making it to the majors for a playoff run with the Angels. So is he a must pick up in your mind?
It's wild. Dude was drafted 11 weeks ago. He was lived in college 11 weeks ago, and he's up in the bigs. It's tough for me because I'm looking at the Angels roster. It makes you wonder, is CJ Cron's back that messed up? Because he's been dealing with this issue all year. Like, does Schanuel come in and play first base? Is that kind of where things go there? He's not going to DH. Shohei's going to DH. That's obvious. So I think he's more of a deep league play for now just because, and I'll say this, I'm always cautious with these ones coming up. There's a lot of playing time questions. And right now, you're on the stretch run. You need playing time. You need counting stats. You need guys to actually be there doing it. So with Schanuel, the tools are great. You're the prospect guy. I'm not. I think he's a very intriguing play. Probably deeper formats for me, though.
Yeah, I think like in a standard redraft 12 team, I don't know, because I think the early word was
fringy corner infield at that
it's
point.
Like super fringy. Because listen, I don't think he's going to be a big power option. It's not to say that he might connect into one, but I just don't think that part of his game is there. And you know, I was telling you off air, like, my God, just make a joke about something. I had this little snarkiness coming my way about joking about the Angels developmental system. But guess what? It stinks, and it hasn't been good. And I mean, from years and years ago, the complex level stuff. I'm Eric Longenhagen from Fangraphs was just like, hey, listen, you can't even pay attention to what the Angels do. So I don't think it's ridiculous to say that the Angels developmental stuff in the minor leagues isn't great. So it's not a surprise that they would draft players that are doing this, but like, I don't think there has been time clearly for him to like work through stuff that you would work through. That's okay, by the way. But if you want to take apples to apples of who he is, I don't think he's a big power hitter. I think he's going to be a contact guy, doesn't really run, going to hit lower in the lineup. Like I said, when you see him, if no one has seen him, he's got a very, it's not counsel because counsel like bring it back, but it is hands up a very open stance, and it all has to come together. Pretty good bat speed, and he makes great contact, but it's not a very lofty type of swing. So if he's on something, sure, he can absolutely pull it. I just think this is going to be a singles, doubles guy. And where does that help in fantasy, especially for platooning with CJ Cron? So Dynasty, love him. I'm all in. Hey, this is a great guy to bet on first-year player. Maybe this will be a fantastic move, going to the majors and getting major league conditioning and development there because of whatever might be lacking at other levels. Maybe this will be the thing that unlocks the next step, but it hasn't been a great track record. But I know that it's kind of indifferent about now. But for fantasy purposes, unless you have some keeper element to it, I'm probably not trying to tell you guys to go jump to the wire.
I'd rather have his teammate Moustakis. Let's put it that way.
Really?
Go look at his numbers. Don't just you're looking at the name, not the numbers. He's been pretty darn good.
Yeah, I guess so. Now, the prospect that I am interested in, as we rookie hello, or lookie hello rookies, is Masyn Winn. Masyn Winn is reportedly going to be getting the call today, finally, because again, we've reached that marker where these guys cannot have 45 games in, which presumably they can't hit the 130 marker, not going to have like the eligibility issues of being on the roster too long. And this is like the positive. So they could keep these guys as rookies next year. That's another advantage to the Angels, by the way. Hat tip to them. Nolan Schanuel goes, plays, gets tutelage, does whatever he does this year, plays all next year.
Starting first baseman. Cron's out of the way.
So that's right. He's the guy. And they're going to put themselves in position to get an extra pick the following year. This is what that team should do. Actually, I think this is a true Galaxy brain move.
You let the kid play with Shohei for a couple months because he won't be able to do next year. So it's a smart move. Get a little carrot.
Well, because I was being snarky online about that, and I was like, hey, Galaxy brain, when you have a bad developmental system, just don't develop them and bring them up. But this is good because you can get the big stuff out of the way because this is a more mature hitter. And I think everything and how they approach him, this is a guy that produces now. Underlying metrics and everything speak to him being a player that is major league-ish ready. But then you're acquiring another pick if he does put himself into that, first getting rookie of the year stuff. Like, that's huge. I think that is huge for him. But Masyn Winn is the one I'm more excited about from a fantasy perspective this year. Don't know if I would call it like must pick up, but 18 homers, 17 stolen bases, sub 17% K rate this year in AAA, hitting 288. He's defensively a monster, can throw 100. He's not going to come off. That's a great thing. Like, this is a player that defensively is going to push for playing time. He's got a good power speed combo. Made some solid changes this year to make sure we're tapping back into consistent contact. He hit 258 at AA last year. He ended up going to the AFL, which was okay. He has been great this year. And this is a guy that I think could have some sneaky stats. So he is somebody that I am more interested in.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. Definitely more intriguing. Power speed combo, the average you mentioned. I think the defense is a great point that people don't talk about because you look at these guys that are getting called up and you wonder, okay, he's obviously going to play a Motter. That's simple. But like, how long is Gorman out for with the back injury? It seems pretty bad. Had to have a shot. That's going to be interesting. Do they move Edmund to the outfield? Because there's moving parts in St. Louis. So if they can find everyday playing time for Winn, which I think they want to, and this was 100%. 45 days. Yeah, make the phone call. Because he should have been up so long ago. There was no reason. It was the Cardinals going nowhere. Perfect timing, obviously. So I'm with you on this one. This one, they wanted him up, so he's expected to play every day. Whereas, Schanuel and some others, it might be more like, hey, just get your feet wet, kid. Let's see what you got. Winn is going to play every day. They have no reason not to.
Yeah, and they got a lot of crap for the Jordan Walker stuff. They sent him down, and that was like clearly a piece of controllability. I think it was in like Super 2. I'm forgetting what it was. But like, as I've said all year long, September is the new roster manipulation for opening day roster stuff with prospects. It used to be, this guy needs a little bit more seasoning before he comes up to the majors, blah, blah, blah. The new manipulation is waiting just until it really is between like mid-July and the beginning of September, the end of August here, where you can just have a guy come up enough where you can control his ability to be a rookie next year. And yeah, Masyn Winn has deserved it. Nolan Gorman on the IL has kind of stung for them. They do have flexibility in general, but like, this is the guy that's their shortstop. He's defensively probably the best one of all of them right now anyways. So he's going to be a great look. I would definitely look at picking him up. Like I said, there's a stolen base factor. He stole 28 last year. ticked down this year, only 17, but he scored a ton of runs. He's hitting for more power. This is a guy that I dig. A couple other news and notes, but reminder, I'm pinging some of the questions. We're going to answer a few of the questions here in a little bit. And I will also give you the hint today for where in the world Welsh and Corbin Carroll are, which really should be the batting cages. And so I think we had a good funny snark comment here, which was, where are Welsh and Carroll? I believe it was, let's see if right here. It was Lee. Where are they? They're third place in the West. And that is too true.
That's good. That's good.
It hurts so good. It hurts so good, my friend. Other notes as far as our headlines go, Julio Rodriguez, career high 5 hits, including go-ahead 3-run homer, 5 RBI. I believe this is his second consecutive 4-hit performance plus. You actually made the statement the other day when I was pushing the Bobby Witt stuff. You said, what about Julio? Could Julio jump back into it? I kind of dismissed it in a like, listen, I think Bobby is in this spot, but if Julio's going to Julio out like this the rest of the season, at least what he's going to do is he makes that whoever's not top 2 conversation a lot more interesting. Like Corbin Carroll is pushing himself out of it. If you're going to hit 230 the rest of the season and you're going to dip down under 260 or something, that's not going to work well. If he hits well and Julio hits well, now I think you're looking at that 3, 4, 5 pick, maybe even having the 5th pick next year is going to be awesome because you will have the choice of Julio, Corbin Carroll, Bobby Witt Jr., Fernando Tatis Jr., however you want to go. But we are now 20-30 for Julio Rodriguez, first time having 30 stolen bases. He is a monster. So any thoughts you want to throw to the bounce back of Julio?
Just real quick, I tweeted it out yesterday. I said, Julio's making everyone forget about the slump just in time for 2024 draft prep. Like, he's completely forgot. Yeah. And since August 1st, dude's got 21 RBIs and 6 stolen bases. 21 RBIs. That's insane what he's doing right now.
Yeah, it's absurd. So it's good to see. This is a huge, huge thing for value planting for next season. And, just for like us trying to understand, like, well, what is going to be the true maturation of this guy? Was it a complete fall apart? It's not. It was a really, I want to call it a really rough, but it was like a rough first half of the year. 239 in April, 252 in May, 220 in June. But then July hits 292. August, he's hitting 377. He's back at it. He's stealing bases. And he's actually, this is a fun fact, he has stolen 6 or more bases every month but 1 so far. So, I mean, that is just enabling extra good value. And that's why Julio is Julio. That's why he does that thing, my friends. Also, Triston Casas hit his 20th home run of the season. He, since the All-Star break, is hitting 337 with a 347/11 homers, 21 RBI in 30 games. And Triston Casas is pushing himself, I just want to say, Bubba, as a top 100 player for next year. He is going to be, I think, maybe it's going to even be further, but he's pushing himself into probably everybody's favorite buzzy sleeper first baseman for next year to take that next step. So how high do you think he's going to look for next year?
Definitely top 100. He's going to be in the discussion probably 7th first baseman, 6th or 7th first baseman, because it's a weird position where it kind of drops off after the big boys early. Like even this last year, we saw a big gap in the ADP. I'd say he's in that probably 75-ish range overall. And I think there's a good argument for that. Dude's got 3 homers this month in the last week. The last 2 have been against lefties, so they can't use that argument anymore. Like,
I got a good one for you. Next year, Casas or Pasquantino?
That's a great comp. I go Casas. I've always been skeptical of Pasquantino, and it's nothing personal or anything. It's just I have yet to see it, basically.
Casas or Christian Walker?
That's a great one. That's a great one because Walker's doing it again now. I'd probably still go Walker just because he's shown the almost 40 home run potential.
Yeah, I mean, Casas is moving into like a completely.
That's a great comp. Like even like you could ask that question this time next year, and it might even be closer.
I think it'll be something we talk a lot about in the offseason, but he is league winning-ish through the rest of this year. Very, very trustable. Start him all over the guys. The other big one, Lance Lynn, held the Brewers scoreless for 7 innings and a no decision on Thursday. Bubba, 1.44 ERA since joining the Dodgers. Lance Lynn went from cuttable asset to someone you've got to start every single time he's out with the Dodgers right now.
Yep, love him or hate him like I do. The Dodgers know how to utilize pitching outside of a couple exceptions, and Lynn's getting the job done. Pitch mix change, and he's going to be. The matchups have been friendly. I'll say that much, but he's still been very good.
That's right. All right. So here is your hint I'm going to give you for a little bit later. This is the hint for where in the world are Welsh and Corbin Carroll. And remember, we are going to be tracking and pick one person to send an autographed Corbin Carroll card to. If you can guess where we are from the fun photoshopped of me and my bestie, which really is making me feel like I am cursed, that I am cursing him with this. So maybe it'll only be at Chase Field every single game. It'll be at the plate or a drive line or something. But the hint today is Gustav. It is Gustav. That is the hint, and making it a much more difficult hint. Gustav is the hint today for where Corbin and I are. Listener questions in the chat, thrown out. You guys can keep doing them. We're going to do one more round of them right now. Are you holding? This is from Whips. Are you holding Jesus Luzardo, Bubba, for rest of the season?
It's only in the deepest of formats. Like it's hard to drop him, but he's not an auto start. I'll say that much.
He is not an auto start. The last 5 have been rough. Ronak also asked, should I drop Yuri for Luzardo in a points league right now?
I would want Yuri.
My only problem with Yuri is the capped innings. Like, I don't like that.
Leagues, yeah.
But Luzardo's been really poop.
He's getting shelled. Like, there's got to be a trade-off between innings and getting lit up. Yeah.
It's just like if you're in a points and he only goes 4, like that win can be the differentiation between anything. But Luzardo's not getting any of that. I guess I would go Yuri right now. It's just it's a rough patch. You should have a short mindset with these guys. You know, someone made the joke just the other day. You weren't here for it, Bubba, but like every fourth show, Joe would come on and he'd be like, he's just Luzardo elite now. And I'm like, no, he's not elite. He's just like really good. And someone was like, where's Joe for Luzardo as he's getting shelled in the chat earlier. Yeah, so it hasn't been good. All right. Royce or Torkelson rest of season?
I still go Royce. I think Royce Lewis is a very talented guy. I'm a huge Torque fan. I'm loving the development we're seeing. He could be a fun conversation for next season, like later round first baseman, but give me Royce going forward. All
right. I'm going to guess. I'm going to go with, and guess, I was thinking of I was looking at the thing for the Corbin and Welsh thing. I'm going to go with Torque. We're going to talk about Torque here in just a little bit. I'm very much in on him. CES or Geloff. We're both going to say Geloff.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about this? Sabo says, Bubba, Peterson, Conforto, Haniger for late season power surge.
Who do you pick a new team by chance? I would say Peterson just because he's got the most power in the group. I don't trust any of them. To be honest.
Pick one. Oh, you said Peterson.
I said Peterson if I have to.
I guess I would probably go with the same thing. Yeah. Let's see. How high does Riley Green go in drafts next year? I think
he's making a case.
75.
Yeah, that's fair. He's showing that he's healthy and what he can do in healthy. So
yeah, like top 25 outfielder
Detroit,
maybe.
Man. 25 to 30 is fair.
Yeah. I haven't even worked on my
that's why it's tough to gauge where it's at. But
yeah, it'll happen in the off season between October and November. I'll be working on my next season ranks, maybe even earlier. But
when we do Black Book work.
Yeah. 2 other questions I'm going to say. That's right, Black Book work. Because they are more Torkelson related, and I want to talk about him here in just a little bit. So let's get back to the sheet here. If you have any more questions, I'm going to try to pick them and keep starring them. So you guys throw them in the chat, and we will answer them. So, and again, the hint for Welsh and Corbin Carroll is Gustav. So where are we? And I see some good guesses in here. So we'll see what's going down. The other rookie lookies, by the way, is Lynn Sosa is going to be called up today and play with the White Sox against the Rockies because Tim Anderson, and I don't know if you saw, Tim Anderson had a little apology. Very unlike Tim Anderson to be contrite and apologetic. So I was kind of shocked at that.
I think he's realizing his shtick is out because even Austin Hedges on the Chris Rose show said this was coming from somebody because he said basically Tim talks too much.
Yeah. Well, and not backing it up, or getting knocked out or anything like that. I mean, he also saw Lance Lynn did an interview with, I think it was Foul Territory. And they were he's like, here's my, he was like, here's my statement on what was said from Kenny Middleton about the culture. And then he just went silent or here's what I disagree with, I think is what he said. And then he went completely silent about it. So, the silence telling all the words. Lynn Sosa, do you care? Probably not an insane option, but he did hit 271 in the minors so far this year, 17 homers, strikeouts. Masyn Winn all day over him if that's something you're considering. Also, Masyn Miller, speaking of Masons, had a couple scoreless innings on Wednesday and a rehab start in single A. A couple strikeouts, might be back. I still say the innings could be wonky. Maybe they put him in relief. Maybe he gets a start. Who knows? But monitor him. He's starting to make his way back. On the injury front, Marcus Stroman, no timetable to return with a torn rib cartilage. No bueno. That's no good.
Goes from hip injury to torn rib cartilage. No idea.
Yeah, very not good here. Brian Wu is going to be returning from the IL on Tuesday, and it's going to be a part of a new 6-man Mariners rotation. That's new, but probably not surprising if you think about the rookies that they have put in there. It untaxes some of the starters. We're going to talk about Kirby here in a little bit. Kirby, these guys, like it's a rough part of the season. I think I talked about this on, what show was it? I think it was CBS. I was kind of presenting the idea of like, what is the wall? And not Pink Floyd, but like, what is the actual wall? Is the wall innings? Or is the wall a time of year? Is the wall the amount of time you're in the major? Like, I think the easy answer for a lot of people is probably it's an innings number. It's like, well, when you are 20% more than what you've done in a previous time. But I wonder if there's something bigger to hitting that wall. And I think maybe the Mariners are getting in front of it a little bit.
I think that's why I wanted to put on there the 6-man part, because all those young arms, basically, if you're in weekly leagues, 2-start weeks are pretty much got out the window. Yeah. And you're going to see more of this. The Rangers have already hinted at it when Eovaldi comes back, and think about some of these other teams that have been calling up players. It will be happening.
Yeah, exactly. The other two, just quick notes here. Lars Nootbaar, IL, lower abdomen contusion, no bueno. I think I'd already mentioned Nolan Gorman also on the IL. So, Masyn Winn coming in, a little bit of spark. And JD Martinez is scratched from the Thursday lineup with groin tightness, and it's just kind of been like a rough go as of recent with JD Martinez. I put this together for, as I'm calling it, Pickup City. I will say, using FantasyPros roster percentages, that does not mean that is your roster percentages. As we know, CBS, I would probably say, is one of the more active. I think that is a better number to go by. That's what I tend to go by. Yahoo's, I think, is pretty good. ESPN's is almost trash. So you'll see like guys that are in none of your leagues are available, and it'll be like 30% on ESPN. Not trying to trash them, but I think, you get a lot more like a casualness that goes into there and people give up. So I'm only pointing this out because you might hear me give percentages from, this is an overall arching roster percentage via FantasyPros that might not be representative of your league. I picked 5 players that I think are pickups that represent under 50% according to FantasyPros that you guys could take a look at. Bubba, I'm going to read off the 5 I picked, and you pick your favorite 1 or 2. That's not Geloff, because I'm going to say Geloff. So number 1, I talked about him on CBS. Spencer Torkelson, 23% ownership over the last 30 days, hit 9 homers, a 240 batting average. I'm telling you, I'm very much into this hype of Torkelson right now. Hard hit percentage, over 50%. Barrel percentage, highest of his career. A lot of things are speaking to a breakout next season for him. Torkelson, for your homer play. Geloff, 31%, 8 homers, 5 stolen bases. Probably been picked up in your league. You also have Wallner, 8 homers over the last 30 days, only 5% owned, but a 214 batting average. Max Kepler, 13% ownership, 7 homers with a 300 batting average over the last 30 days and hitting 3 for that team. And TJ Friedl, 4 homers, 7 stolen bases, a 448 30-day batting average, the most owned of this at 40%. So, you know what? I'll even say, if you want to rank them, as far as pickups, there definitely is a like, here's what I need for power and here's what I need for speed. So if you want to pick a power speed guy or you want to rank them, whatever your choice, but who are you prioritizing on these pickups?
First, I have to laugh because I write a fab article for FantasyPros and then a waiver wire for GTE, and I use Yahoo, and I've written all these guys up multiple times because I just laugh at their roster rates. I'm just like, what are we doing here, people? But for me, excluding Geloff, as we said, TJ Friedl's number 1 for me. I've rostered him all season long. Like, he's very valuable in most formats. I'd go Friedl, Kepler, then Torkelson. That's like a 2A, 2B, and then Wallner 4th. I love Wallner, but he's basically Joey Gallo light. He's going to go on power surges.
Yeah.
He's like Jack Sawinski. Think about it that way. Similar aspects there. But yeah, I go Torque third, but I won't stop anybody.
Where does Geloff? Is Geloff 1 in this?
For me, yeah. I think the dude's just legit as it gets.
Yeah.
And I know he's out producing metrics and all this. I don't care.
He is.
The kid's locked in.
I think and also if I were in like a keeper format and I was looking for guys to stat, sometimes you guys have those like 8-10 keepers. Is there a guy in here that's keeper worthy? I think Torkelson and Geloff are the only ones that are close to that, by the way. I think they're the only ones that are in that range. And I'm just telling you right now, I'm going to talk about Torque in the offseason. I think everything that you see underlying from him are the stuff you look for players to break out. May not happen. Batting average still hasn't really been good, 240 over the last 30, but I think there's a lot working in his favor. I think that is a sneaky building offense, and I'm going to probably talk about him. He'll probably be a sleeper for next year, so that's just getting ahead of the curve here. But Geloff and Torkelson at the top. I also put together some weekend streamers for everybody. Here are a couple of your options, Bubba. You give me who you're down with on Saturday. I only found 2 with low percentages. Chase Silseth going up against Tampa Bay and Chris Sanchez going up against Washington. Are you down? Is this a thumbs up or thumb down for both of those if you're spot starting?
Silseth 100%, depending on what you need in your format. I'm okay with Sanchez. He's more of a wavy hand, where Silseth I'm all for. 100%.
Okay. Sunday, we've got Dakota Hudson, who's 4-0 in the year, by the way, going up against the Mets, and Dallas Keuchel going up against Pittsburgh.
No, I don't care who he pitches against. He can be in the California Penal League. We're not going there.
All right, so there's no chance?
No Keuchel. You stack against Keuchel every chance you can, people. Every single chance. The one guy that's not on the list I'll mention, Jesse Schultens pitches in Coors on Saturday. The Rockies aren't the same Rockies and Coors anymore, and Schulten's been very good.
Okay, very good. By the way, we're going over a little bit on the show, so I hope you all love us. So give us a thumbs up on the YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed. Show that love and subscribe for all the videos into the offseason because we're going to go a little bit over. 3 up, 3 down. Sal Frelick yesterday had 3 stolen bases, was only 1 for 3 with 3 stolen bases. Corbin Burns, 9 strikeouts in 7 innings. And Joey Meneses, 5 RBI. So we already talked about Julio. He would be the number 1. On the down, there wasn't a lot because there wasn't a lot of games, but Willie Adames was still able to have 4 strikeouts and 4 at-bats. Good for him. Washington, Robert Garcia gave up 6 earned runs in 2/3 of an inning. And I'm grasping at straws here because there wasn't a whole lot of like insane downs, but George Kirby, he went 6, struck out only 2, gave up 8 hits and 4 earned runs. Maybe why we're taking a look at that 6-man rotation being kind of a positive, Bubba.
100%. It makes total sense with them.
That's right. PrizePicks. Check out the promo code leading off when you go. Download the app. Use leading off. 100% match up to $100. You guys can play these. You can play multiple sports. You can intertwine the sports. PrizePicks has made fantasy baseball and fantasy and really sports in general fun and has made baseball fun all year long. So get to playing with us and use that promo code leading off. What you got on the PrizePicks?
On the PrizePicks, we're just going fantasy scores over here. Give me Bryce Harper over 7.5. He is heating up in a big way. That's a low number in the great matchup he has. J-Rod, I'm going to keep playing it because the dude's just ridiculous. Over 8, it seems like easy money. And then Lou Bob in Coors over 9 versus Lambert. I love all 3 of those.
All right, I actually gave 4 because of the Luis Robert one. I actually really like that one as well. The score. I'm all scores here. Goldie, love the matchup. 7.5 over. Corey Seager at 7. Kyle Tucker at 8. Those are all fantasy scores I dig. There was a couple. I will tell you the strikeout combo of Fott and Lugo was intriguing to me at 9.5. Those are some pieces I might put together if you guys are trying to prize pick it up. What about your best bets if we're getting into the betting market today? I actually made a bunch of bets, locked them in last night, and I'm going to tell you about them in a second. But what do you got?
I'm going to stick with the J-Rod wagon. I was looking for some positive money. Hits, runs, and RBIs over 2.5 at plus 125. Lou Bob hits, runs, RBIs over 2.5 minus 110. And then Royce Lewis over 1.5 total bases. I love the Twins matchup today. Plus 120. I like the plus odds on those.
Okay, so I've got a couple parlay ones. They're kind of odd ones. I found Bryce Miller strikeouts. I don't like that one today. 5.5. I wanted to play the under, but it was juiced. I tried to find another strikeout one. Honestly, I just didn't like any of the other strikeout ones. I didn't feel like there was an edge.
It's a rough board.
But I did feel like there was an edge with Michael Lorenzen outs, recorded outs. It is essentially big juiced up stuff, but it is, can he get to the 6, which he's done in, I believe, 4 of his last 5. Obviously, he went very long in the last one, but he had a couple more days of rest, getting into 100 pitches. So I took Michael Lorenzen outs over 7.5, which I am betting on him going 6. and Bryce Miller under 5.5 strikeouts against the Astros. That gave me plus 164. That was one bet. Did a hits parlay today. Corey Seager, Shohei Ohtani, and Kyle Tucker, all just to get a singular hit. That was plus 150. Just one hit from all of them. Pretty decent matchups across the board. And then I did play Houston. First 5 team total runs for them to score 2.5 on Bryce Miller. That was almost even money. So I'm just betting for them to score 3 runs in the first 5 innings on that offense. Bryce Miller's had a couple ones out there. So that was my big bet. What about the DFS? Somebody early on had asked like right away what some of the big stacks are. So let's burn through some DFS before we get to the final listener questions, the home run call, and where were me and Corbin?
The top pitcher most will go to Spencer Strider, but I'll save some money. Give me Pablo Lopez at 10.6K against the Pirates, striking out 27% of the time versus righties. Alcantara, GPPs against the Dodgers at 9.6. I think that's a sneaky play. Then Brendan Pfaadt has looked much better since getting recalled. Padres are in shambles, 6K for him. Stacks, I love Philadelphia versus Adon. Talked about that with Harper. Love Minnesota versus Jackson in the Pittsburgh bullpen. White Sox versus Lambert. There's a million ways to go, but I'd start with Philadelphia, Minnesota. Talked about that on my show last night. And then if you're looking for some value, there's Matt Wallner, 2.4K versus Jackson. You got Gavin Sheets and Coors at 3K versus Lambert. It's a fun slate if you want to be a little different and avoid Coors. There's plenty of ways to go.
I like it. All right, some listener questions we did put out. I want to give you one last hint here. Some good guesses, but you guys aren't finding it, by the way. Where in the world are Welsh and Corbin Carroll? My hint to you was Gustav, and some great ones. I'd have to scroll all the way back up, but there was a windmill in there. So that's the last hint I'm going to give you. A couple other questions as far as what you guys dropped. Francis said Tyler O'Neill or Masyn Winn rest of year. I actually go with Masyn.
Yeah, I guess for me it's O'Neill is because I know what I'm locked into. Where Wynn's more of a question mark, and I'm just cautious. I've mentioned that many times.
You know what though? As soon as I said that, realizing like Nootbaar's on the IL, you got the Carlson stuff. There really is playing time available. I think I could go one of two ways. Win maybe a little bit more if I'm chasing more stolen bases than Tyler O'Neill, but that's a really close one. And let's see. This was one Richard said, a trade got vetoed in my dynasty league. Franco for Jimenez. The Jimenez trader was big time gambling. Do you think it should have gotten vetoed?
No.
I'm
not a fan of vetoes unless it's like so erroneous. And honestly, with everything that's going on, that's not that erroneous, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, and Bogman and I have always been the likes of saying that vetoes are a no-go unless there's collusion, unless you can prove collusion. That's not a collusion thing. That's, trading a player that looks real dicey, not even talking about that news today, and someone's making a bet. If they want to make that bet, that's the most non-veto-y move you could possibly make. It just might be stupid,
Yeah.
That's it.
Stupid.
It's stupidity and vetoes and stuff sometimes do go together. Fenway said, Dynasty, Yuri or Skeens? Go with Yuri on that one.
Yeah, I'll leave that one to you. You know those guys much better than I.
Yeah. Am I playing Reagans tonight in a standard 5x5?
I am, and you better play him today because he plays in the afternoon at Wrigley.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think this was.
It starts today. At about an hour and 20 minutes.
I'm going to say no. I'm not into
I'm a big Reagans fan, but I get it. If you're nervous, I get it. You can buy a dog.
Right. No thanks. Torque Casas. I will go Casas, but I think Torque is going to be in there, Lee. So I think we're 100% in there. Yeah, and we'll try to keep doing more of these questions in. I want to do these more Wednesdays, but I didn't get it for the last show because of the chaos that was going on. So I want to make sure you're getting your questions. So make sure you guys are hanging out with us in the chat, and we will throw
get you guys to the finish line.
Exactly. All right. Let's get to it. The guess was Gustav. Last chance to think here. Corbin Carroll and I, best friends, the great photoshopped video. So let's hit the open and let's get those last guesses. Where in the world are Welsh and Corbin Carroll? Bubba, you got to guess. You got to guess. I made it tough. Gustav.
I'm thinking you're in Russia. I don't know. I got nothing. I got nothing.
I guess that's a little bit more German.
I've had some guesses lately, but you got this one. I'm like, I have no clue.
So I tried to make this really tough because the last one I dropped barrel and everyone was like, Niagara Falls. Everybody got it. So a lot of people were on the board. So I went a deep cut. With this one, I had to really go deep because almost anything I could have said would have probably full on gave it away. Nobody had it early on. There were great guesses. Stockholm was in there. I should have probably marked them up here. But there was like, Germany, I think, German windmill, cutlery shop, the Brattenberg Gate. I don't even know what that is. But I'm going to give the points to this because somebody did kind of get this. They're probably doing some work here. And it was Sabo, because Sabo said Paris. And we were in front of the Eiffel Tower. Now,
someone said Eiffel Tower. I saw that.
What does Gustav have to do? Well, the creator of the tower, Gustav Eiffel. Gustav Eiffel was the person that built the tower in 1889. And by the way, the tower actually opened up to the public for the World's Fair. I guess it was the World's Fair in 1889. And it was Gustav Eiffel that did it. So me and Corbin, we were getting a little bit of a not hitting. We weren't getting hits, not getting wins, but we did go and check out the Eiffel Tower. Look how happy we look.
Yep. Jacob Williams nailed that one. He had Eiffel Tower.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Where was that?
The 9:59 a.m. mark. Scroll up.
Okay, so let's give credit. Jacob Williams. Sabo, I'm going to give credit to. Very good. That was a weird one. That was a hard one. But that is where we were, and we'll be tracking. I'm tracking all these. I hope you guys are having fun with it. I'm going to mess with the video a little bit this weekend. Let's finish this bad boy out. We are going extra overtime for you guys today on the home runs. Let's take a look at the board if I can find it. The home run board here. There you go. Blue Harvester still just killing their lead, but JJ Tater is coming. JJ Tater's coming, boy. Razor Ramon, MIA. Hoffman jumped up, and Wonky has jumped up with me, as well as MT Fischerow. We represent 5, 6, and 7 at 36. So me and Wonky are still 11 behind first. Blue Harvester is absolutely holding on to that lead for the home run stuff. I'm having fun with it. I hope you guys are as well this season. And if you guys are a part of the premium accounts on FantasyPros, you can do this kind of cool, fun stuff that we do. And we're giving away this helmet that you can see, except it's inscribed FantasyPros Home Run Champ by Corbin Carroll. And I got it right here to the left of me, all boxed up, baby. So, all right, what do you got for your home run call today, Bubba? You've been on fire.
I liked yours. I'm going to let you have it. So I'm going with Bryce Harper because I'm a believer in what we're seeing. He's getting healthy. He's swinging it well, and it is a phenomenal matchup versus Don. So give me Harper.
Well, this is our weekend calls, so we're going to get them through the weekend. And I've got Luis Robert. So Colorado, in Colorado, I think it's a pretty good bet here. Try to get a couple. Hopefully none of these other guys in front of me took that. So I'm going with Luis Robert for the rest of it. There you guys go. So hopefully you guys are in for a great weekend. Hopefully you guys are in good position for your fantasy playoffs or your roto setup. Hopefully we put you guys in a good position. Bubba and I are back again next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. More Welsh and Corbin Carroll. Hopefully he starts hitting more pickups, more of you with your questions. So make sure we do that, and let's find ways to razz Joe Pisapia. That's the most important thing.
Always most important.
That's always. Yeah, somebody was on his butt, by the way, about they asked him a baseball question, and he's like, I'm into football. And they're like, come on, buddy. What's your problem? What's your problem? So let's make sure Joe knows.
Give it to him. Remind him.
That's right. You guys can find us on Twitter. Is it the Welsh Bogman Sports? I was going to do
other fat guy.
Other guy. BD Intric. And is it the Welsh? It's Bubba and Welsh right here and leading off. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll talk to you next week right here on Fantasy Pros. Goodbye, friendos. Peace.